right combination of books. Let's see. Typing is going to be a little bit tricky. Um, uh, so, okay. Maz Lumagar, thank you for following me. Much appreciated. So Gossam, you're asking what is a Webpack? Let's go over what Webpack is and why if you're a programmer these days, with anything touching the front end in any capacity, knowing Webpack is useful skill. Now, what it does is it bundles up all of your front end assets. So JavaScript, if you have any kind of JavaScript, including uh, your own project's JavaScript files, if you're bringing in jQuery or Vue or React, any of these things, you need to have a, Webpack will work with it. But it's also your image files, like your PNGs, your JPEGs, your SAS, other files, all those things, it will handle. And the way it works is you take your code, however it's written, and it creates this bundle right here, and it will randomize this name. It can do that so that way when people reload your HTML page, it'll load this up, but it bundles it together and it compacts it. And it is the industry standard. If you've used Gulp or one of the predecessors, this is, people still use it. Very funny, Fabio. This isn't an alpha. This is a final. This is one of the last 14 print copies we have. After they sell off, there will be none, and we're not autographing Two Scoops of Django. You can't order autographed versions of Two Scoops of Django 3, only 1.11, because we've changed our shipping method. We're no longer handling the shipping. We're doing drop shipping from various parts of the world. So that way, instead of paying $35 for shipping, you get to pay only $8. The downside is we can't autograph them. So if you don't get one now, sorry. Maybe we'll come when the pandemic's over. We'll come and visit you, if they let us U.S. citizens travel to your country. I'm not getting into that. So anyway, that is Webpack to a T. And so let's dig in. I have held off from learning it just for whatever reason. Oh, this is concepts. I want to do the Webpack tutorial. I think I had that. Okay, so all right, so we're going to read through it. We're getting started. Webpack is used to compile JavaScript modules once installed to your interface with Webpack, either from its CLI or API. If you are new to Webpack, read the core concepts and the comparison. Let's just scan through that. So to get started, we need to understand its core concepts. Entry, output, that sounds pretty obvious. Loaders, I'm guessing these are things that load in Java, like either jQuery or PNG plugins, so that way you can handle more things. Mode, I don't know. Browser compatibility. I guess mode is it can change behavior of it, and browser compatibility, so that way if you want to do modern browsers or not. Hey, how's it going? I'm gonna wonder if I can blow up the text of what I see of the chat window. Oh yeah, that's better. Hey, Firex Cast Gaming. How's it going? Okay, so entry is it's which module Webpack should use to begin out its internal dependency graph. And then so this is I'm not really sure what that is. So it's this is, hey, go to the index.js file and from there build out everything. And then this is the output, the name of it, of the bundled result. Oh. So you're developing an anti-cheat for a game. That sounds awesome. So I have to admit, Firex Gaming, OCAS, one of the things I really want to do is find a really hyper violent game, like Fortnite. I guess is what you call. I mean, it's comedic violence. And then what I want to do is I want to get a cheat. Like, hear me out. Hear me out. I want to get a cheat that gives me invulnerability. And then I'm just gonna walk around the game, not saying it, and not shoot or attack anybody, and just start and just be yelling, "Violence never solves anything." And that is, yeah, I guess that would probably be a jerk move to do, but I think it'd be funny to do once and record it on video. Um, well, yeah, I mean, I know these games are designed. I think they probably don't have a God mode or invulnerability mode that you can. Oh, server authority. That's what you have. Yeah, so that's what I want to do is just maybe get employed by one of these companies, and then but little would my employer know what my ultimate goal would be. Okay, so loaders. Loaders are allows Webpack to process other types of files and convert them into valid modules. So JavaScript and JavaScript, CSS. Okay, that is well, no, I wouldn't. I am hyper competitive by nature. I actually turn it off professionally for the most part, just because it's not nice to other people in the software engineering community, and so I really I don't like cheating, because if you cheat and win, it feels empty. I know people, like, some people get a rush out of it, and I'm like, I'm just like, why would you, where's the entertainment value? If there's no risk, then how do you get that rush? It's kind of like why gamblers will like to gamble. Part of the addictive process is there's that rush. There's that dopamine rush that you get from gambling, and competitive activity gives it to me very strongly. So yeah, exactly, Cass. I agree with you. And I don't I'm a nice person by nature, so making other people feel bad because I kick their butt. That's the other side of my hyper competitiveness, is when I clobber people in something that I feel awkward. When I do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, if I'm like really dominating someone, I will often kind of like give them stuff because I feel bad. And when I did striking martial arts when I was younger and much faster, and before some injuries, I would do the same, which is kind of stupid when someone's punching you, because all that it takes is one lucky hit and you're like stunned or hurt. So okay, so plugins, yep, can do a wide, add more abilities, mode, development, production, or none. That's awesome. And then browser compatibility is pretty obvious. Okay, so that's concepts, and then comparison. I guess these are other tools. Let me see if I can widen this. Wow, this is a really let's see. I think so these, it's comparison with other module bundlers. Don't care. If you're a maintainer of one of the other module bundlers, total respect for all the hard work you're doing, but today it's about Webpack. All right, so let's do it. Let's dig in. Now, if I was lazy, I could just copy paste like this. That is not what I'm going to do, though. The problem I find with just copy pasting in like that is that you tend not to develop the same muscle memory as you do when you type in. So I'm gonna create a new window. Where am I? I am, let's see. So this puts me in my root, and I'm gonna go to projects, and then I'm gonna start typing. So if you're there, I mean, if you want to follow along, then please do. This is our chance as a family to, I'm checking something out. It's our chance as a family on my channel Whoops. I did not want to do that. Hold on. It is, where am I? Oh, there we go. This is our chance as a family to learn Webpack together. Okay, so let's see. This is, I'm going to adjust where my chat is showing up just to give everyone a bit more insight into what I'm doing. And all right, and we'll do this nice and wide. There we go. All right, and I'll rearrange the windows for whatever works best for for my watchers. Okay, so let's do make dir webpack. If you're on Windows, this would be not make mkdir, it would be md, I believe. Okay, and then webpack demo. Let us first check which version of oh, that's not good. Do I let's do more explicit. Oh, this is so not good. Hold on. Let's do brew install npm. And we'll see if that fixes things. Fabio, what are you trying? Are you trying it with Windows? Okay, so we're gonna I could have sworn. Oh, so I could, let's see if, so, but I'm not trying to load Node. Hold on, I want to see what this means. Well, the first thing we get to do is watch me debug. Oh, I'm not doing not doing React. Yeah, it'll be good. All right, so okay, so we'll try one of these and see if this fixes things. All right. I don't know what this will do. Let's just do this. Wow, it got really shady all of a sudden. So my green screen is hanging from the chandelier because I'm actually in the dining room of our house. My computer doesn't give me a good network connection, even though it's a recent MacBook Pro. It was purchased in 2018 for my last company, and for some reason it doesn't like the internet here, so it doesn't give me a stable upstream. So I'm connected to a wire, and this is where I have to be. And so we're hanging the blue screen, and so it's hanging from the chandelier, and I have natural light coming from that direction. Okay, so let's enough of that. Let's see what happens. Okay, so so let's do Node version. Okay, so all right, so we're good. That's cleaned up. That was easy. Okay, so let's do, we are in, hold on. Okay, so we're in this window, so we're gonna do npm init -y. Hi, here we go. So I have I have package.json, and then I'm gonna do npm install, oops, yeah, npm install webpack webpack CLI, and then save dev. All right, let's do it. So Pydrita, that's a cool name. I like pie. We actually made savory apple pie, and that's what I had for breakfast. So I really love pie. my wife is, besides being an incredible software engineer, is probably the best pie maker on the planet. So all right, so let's see if we can replicate this tree. Whoa. So I did tree and I have a lot more stuff than what they showed. Maybe I'll do this in VS Code just so we can see a little bit better what's going on. Okay, so oh, I see. So when I did tree, this is everything in Node.js. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna switch to doing it here in the terminal inside of Webpack. Okay, everyone can see this. So I think we need to have Node version 8 or greater. I just had to reinstall Node, so I'm running the most recent, which puts me at 14.4. I hope that won't cause me a problem with other things. So we'll see. We'll find out. So this has package dot. So what's interesting is my project. See, there's package.json. That's there. Oh, I see. So I get to create these. So I need to create a source. I'm going to create these files, these green files. Should I blow this up? Okay, I'm below. So this should be a little bit easier to read. If you are new, if you're just joining us, you can go ahead and follow along. If you haven't learned Webpack, we're learning it together because it's just useful it's a useful skill to have. Even if you're a Python developer, if you're doing Django or Flask or Fast API, go Fast API. I mean, I love Django. I mean, I write books about Django, but yeah, this is Two Scoops of Django 1.11, which is on sale. I didn't mention that before, that the print version, because we were trying to clear out space in the house, and these are the last autographed books we'll ever ship out. Yeah, the print version is going for, the autograph is going for only $23.97, which is basically cost. I think we're making pennies on it. So anyway, sorry, I'm getting distracted. That's part of why I stream, is to stay focused. I don't go off too much on tangents. But we'll go off on tangents anyway. So the first thing I want to do is I want to create a directory called src, which stands for source. And then within that, there we go. And within that, I'm going to create index.js. And then I'm also going to create, at the root level, I'm going to create index.html. I'm going to stop saying see, and I did it again. Okay, so here I have and there I did instead of Okay, here I have source index.js. Let's see if we can write this out. So we have function, component, and then const. Const means that it is a unchangeable it is an unchangeable element or unchangeable variable. It's a constant. And it is where it's going to go into, it's going to create a div. And yes, I could absolutely copy this. I'm going to copy the comments just because it's a lot more work. Oh, this goes into this file right here. Okay, there we go. I was wondering why I wasn't getting code coloration. Okay, so but by typing it, the reason why I like typing things out when I am taking a tutorial is it forces me to learn what I'm doing. And so Lodash, which is an old library, is I guess it is loaded via script. So Webpack, and then what else? We have comma. All right. And I don't know why we're passing in these values yet, but that's part of the fun of this is we're learning new things. So return element. Okay, so what we're doing is we're creating this element, and then of course, even though it's a constant, it's just kind of because this is I guess inner HTML is an array within the element. The element itself can't be changed, but an array within it can be, and then that is what is being set, and then we're returning that. So that's just some kind of useful object. And I think this is one of those things where once you do it, you probably never have to worry about it again. This isn't something super critical. Okay, and then in the HTML file, I've seen this many times before. I will have the top thing, doc type, HTML, and then HTML, and then we're going to have a head and a title. Getting started. And we have a script, and this right here that I'm about to do is, I guess, so this is something I don't like about this tutorial. I was about to say, yeah, it's the official tutorial. It doesn't have a SRE. That's a service resource index. I think that's what that means. I will go over that with you now because this is really useful for anyone doing front-end development. Mozilla SRE service, I think it's service resource. I don't remember what it is. It's a security issue. Or no, SRI, that's it. It's SRI, I think. SRI. Sub-resource integrity. So there is no way for us to be certain that our app is getting this particular thing. So if you go to, and unpackaged doesn't support this, and this is a security issue. But if I go to Lodash, and if I click copy, you see, hold on, I have to expand it a little bit so you can see. I have to expand out even more. See how you can almost see how it says, oh yeah, it says it completely. Copy script tag without SRI. That's not what we want. We want to copy the script tag and let's see. Okay, so now if you notice, I have two script tags, and this is the one that they supply, which is using unpackaged.com. Great little open source project, but it lacks this integrity, and this is basically a SHA. That means that we know absolutely, and we're gonna, I guess, hopefully they support this. We'll see. We may have to bump this up and pray that it works. This is just a practice I like to follow to make sure that my websites have, I actually have the information. And if you want to look up sub-resource integrity and read about it, yes, we do cover this in Two Scoops of Django, the security channel. This is the link. So please, if you're referencing other things, if you're hitting like CDN.js or some other service, external service for your JavaScript stuff or CSS, please do this. It just protects your users quite a bit. Okay, so I'm not going to call that a tangent. Okay, so now we're going to add in the body to our, oops, come on. Because I'm having to type with my arms like this because the books and stuff holding up. This really tiny microphone stand. I'm going to get a larger one because it's clear that I need it. Otherwise, I have to scrunch down. Okay, so now the body, if you see, we're going to add in this script. Okay. And then here, this, and if you notice, this is going to, if you don't know JavaScript, I'm going to explain what this is doing. By going dot source, that is going, hitting the same directory level, and then it is loading this index.js module or file. I don't know if they call it a module in JavaScript or not, but and now we need so that this page, this HTML's page's base job is to load Lodash and then load this script within the body. Okay, so now we need to adjust our package.json file in order to make sure that we mark our package as private, as well as removing the main entry. This is to prevent accidental publish of our code. So what we're going to do is inside, underneath our description, which we don't really have, we're going to do private true, and then we're going to kill this line. Okay. All right, that was, oops, comma. That was easy. In this example, there are explicit dependencies between the script tags. Our index.js depends on Lodash. Being included in the page before it runs is because index.js never explicitly declared a need for Lodash. It just assumes that the global variable underscore exists. This is Lodash gives you this underscore, which is one of those, it adds, I guess, missing pieces to the JavaScript language, and join, I'm not sure what join does. There are problems with managing JavaScript projects this way. It is not immediately apparent that the script depends on an external library. If a dependency is missing or included in the wrong order, the application will not function properly. If a dependency is included but not used, the browser will be forced to download unnecessary code. Let's use Webpack to manage these scripts instead. Aha! So we're just being shown how not to build things, and explicitly including this script isn't what we want to do. I guess the reason why is because let's say we have 10 different JavaScript libraries and we're including them in script things, and if you get them out of order, it's problematic. The classical example of this is, I remember from the jQuery days, if you're doing jQuery extensions and you have to have jQuery at the top, and then you add in the extensions. But if you have a jQuery extension, or was it a plugin? I guess jQuery plugins, if they're out of order, that could cause problems. And also you might have issues with them overlapping each other's state through use of global variables, because you weren't supposed to do that, but sometimes that happened. Okay, first we'll tweak our directory structure slightly, separating the code src from our distribution code. So this is our source code from distribution code. That's nice, because source is what you work on. Distributed is the minimize and the optimize output. So I guess index is going to go into the dist folder, index.html. Oops, hold on. Dist. And I've seen this before with, when I've used Vue.js or a couple other frameworks, when it generates this stuff for you, it always has a dist directory. Okay, to bundle the Lodash dependency with index.js, we'll need to install library locally. So we'll do npm install. Can you see that? Okay, I'm just realizing that my chat is over. Tell you what, I will see if I can switch. Is that better? Oh, but now my big blonky head might be blocking your view. Okay, I think that should be better. And then let's get you all the way to the edge, and we'll do that. Okay, so, oh, it's good. So should I move it back, or is this better now? Okay. I'll just wait until you tell me. Hey, thank you for the response, Keenan. Okay, so it's better like this. Okay, excellent. So we're gonna do npm install save. If for whatever reason you don't know it, yeah. So npm install is like pip install. Okay, so it's installed. When installing package, that will be bundled into your production bundle. You should use npm install save. If you're using it for development purposes, it's save dev. All right, I actually didn't know that. Can anyone hear like water falling in my mic? Because that's the dishwasher far in the background. I can turn that off if I need to. Okay, so where was I? Oh, and if I look up package.json, you can see I have Lodash right there. Okay, and now let's import Lodash in our scripts. So now in index.js, no background noise. That's awesome. Yay for good microphones. I just wish I had something bigger than this little mic stand, which, by the way, I'm holding my mic on with with rubber bands. I don't know if you can see it. Okay, yeah, I actually stream from the dining room of my house, so there's it makes for things being a little bit kind of fun, and that's just because if I am not on a network cable, it's just really my stream becomes erratic. So Lodash was imported, so that's why they had us comment. Okay, and we can even get rid of this right here, which is awesome. So we're going to go to index. Oh, hold on. We're going to replace. So now here where we're loading this, which isn't what we're supposed to be doing anyway, we're going to do this, and then we're going to change source index.js with main.js. Did we define main? We didn't define main.js, so I don't understand what that's doing. In this setup, index.js explicitly requires Lodash to be present. That's this import, and binds it as underscore no global scope pollution. So we specified that it was going to have a namespace. See, it even VS Code is showing us that the underscore is the namespace, which is shockingly similar to how Python uses it. And I've known about how to do imports with JavaScript for a while, but it's just nice to review it. Because we're by stating, I'm going to add by explicitly stating what dependencies a module needs. Webpack can use this information to build a dependency graph. It then uses the graph to generate an optimized bundle where scripts will be executed in the correct order. A dependency graph are all the dependencies that a library might need. So for example, underscore doesn't need any dependencies, but Vue.js does. And so I'm guessing if we do import Vue from Vue.js or whatever, if we replace this with import Vue in some capacity, it would be able to figure out from that, I'm guessing, what it needs to install or pack. So it says, with that said, let's run npx webpack, which will take our script at source index.js as an entry point. It will generate dist main.js as the output. The npx command, which ships with node 8 or higher, 8.2 or higher, runs the webpack binary of the webpack package we installed in the beginning. So let's do it. Let's go for it. And I think my head is blocking what you can see, my big blocky head. I guess I move over this way, but then you see my head turning off the screen, which is kind of weird. I'd rather be like looking this way. So I think I'll just do npm webpack. Can you see, is the text for this big enough? Maybe I can blow that up. Let's see if I, oh, and I'm going the wrong way. Here we go. All right, so okay, so there it's clear. I can see what I'm doing. Or it's a little bit clear what I'm doing. So npx webpack. I don't even know what, like the npx command, I'm not sure what that does, but all right. And what we got was a hash, a version, main.js. I guess it built everything. It is the let's see if we can. So the mode option has not been set. Webpack will fall back to production in this value. Set mode to development or production to enable defaults. Oh, we actually see that right here. But it looks like we're built. And now let's open index.html in the browser. So open, I guess we go dist index.html, and it says hello webpack. Okay. That worked. All right, let's get back here. If we're getting a syntax error, we didn't. Set development mode and run npx webpack again. We're not going to worry about that. So the import, all right, so modules. The import and export statements have been standardized in ECMAScript 2015. They're supported in most browsers. I don't care. I know this is going to be harsh to people on older browsers, but seriously, upgrade now. I don't care about older browsers. But Webpack supports them. So that's another nice thing is, I guess because of Babel and other tools, Babel will convert your JavaScript into stuff that all the browsers can run. It's how one of the nice things about using Webpack or React and Vue.js actually versus older jQuery style stuff is or flat JavaScript. And this is another benefit of it is because Babel can helps you easily plug into these libraries. I know Gulp and other things can as well, but it's one of the reasons why we use these tools. Okay, so behind the scenes, it actually transpiles the code that said older browsers can run it. If you inspect main.js, you will be able to see how Webpack does it. Let's see. Let's go to main.js, and this is some Mungie. So if you look at this is interesting. So this is compacted code. There's almost no spaces because it's clearly compacting it, which means it'll be nicer for your users. And then Lodash, it actually brought in the top comment. I forget. I'm blanking on. I should know what this is. So that way, this right here is probably the Lodash library right here. So we're seeing all the ways in which the JavaScript for this project is being compacted. And if we look at index, it's I'm not really sure how it's working yet. I'm just kind of figuring out, and that is what's being loaded here. And one of those things in there is if we go to the rendered page, it says hello webpack. I'm guessing if I go to main.js, I can do hello webpack. Hold on. Look at that. So here's the actual join. This is inside of main.js. So when when you have a single page app, it's loading all the text and stuff added to the front end that you're not loading. It's actually adding it to this main.js file, which is kind of fascinating when you think about it. And I think this is the, I guess, the heart of single page apps is right there. And so this is why it's good. Okay, so note that Webpack will not alter any other code other than import and export statements. If we are using other newer ECMAScript features, we need a transpiler like is Babel or Buble. And Babel is what I mentioned before. This allows older browsers to access modern applications. Okay, so as of version 4, Webpack doesn't require any configurations, but most projects will need more than a complex setup, which is why Webpack supports a configuration file. This is much more efficient than having to manually type in a lot of commands in the terminal. So let's create one. It is this config file that always stumps me with Webpack, is when I see webpack.config.js, which is what we're about to create, I'm always like, oh no, I've got to I don't know how to, I'm going to touch this and everything's going to break. So this is why we're here, is to get over that. Cause all right, so I'm going to admit something. I've been programming professionally for over 23 years, and I get imposter syndrome. And this is Webpack. Webpack is one of those things that has given me imposter syndrome. And I know it sounds crazy, right? It's like people say, oh man, you've written books, you've made all these libraries, and I mean, I don't do much open source anymore. You work for NASA, all these things, but I don't know, just Webpack always seemed really arcane, and so I hid from it, and it's time to conquer that fear, and I'm glad you're all here with me. So okay, so oops. Okay, so I'm just typing out the file again rather than just copy paste it, which I could do. I like to type out tutorials just so I get a better understanding of what I'm doing. And I'll tell you my read on this in just a second. Oh wow, we can have trailing zeros or trailing commas because this isn't JSON. Okay, so let me shrink this down a little bit so we can see a little bit better. All right, so what this is doing here is this right here is a JavaScript object, and it is what it is, and I'm trying not to say dictionary because that's a Python term. So I guess this is the entry point. This is index.js, which I'm highlighting right here, and then this is the output, the file name, and then our path. If you notice, there's this dir name. That is something that is in the, I guess, the global state for JavaScript. It's a built-in. Yeah. So okay. So if I was about to ask you, Cass, if you used C#. I'm last year in November I started playing with Unity 3D, and I love it. I can't get enough. And at the moment, I'm not really getting to do much. But once a couple projects are done, it is definitely awesome, and I have a lot of appreciation for C#. I mean, I also like the fact that it allows me to create cross-platform apps using Unity 3D. And oops, what the heck just happened? That was weird. One of the things that that I've certainly done is I've created cross-platform mobile apps using Unity 3D that were business related, and that's awesome that I can do that. And instead of learning React Native or the whatever Vue equivalent is popular or actually working, just doing it once in Unity 3D was great. And plus, you can make games. And I would, what you can do with Unity 3D is amazing. Okay, so let's run the build again, but instead using our new configuration file. So we're going to type this out, npx webpack. So I guess npx is run a command. Webpack is the command that we're doing. And now we're telling it to use this config file, which is our webpack.config.js. All right, and this gave us a, a really similar run. And and look at this. If webpack config.js is present, the webpack command picks it up by default. We use the config option here only to show that we can pass a configuration of any name. This is, I guess, useful if you have complex configurations, like, maybe you have different environments. And then let's open, we go dis index, and this is still working. Okay. Awesome. So npm scripts, it's not particular fun to run a local copy from this Webpack from the CI, so we can set up a shortcut. I was just thinking about doing this. So let's add, if we go to our package.json file, and in the node world, this is, what is the difference between this and this? There is no difference. That's kind of strange. What was I thinking of? So if you're used to running make files, package.json is essentially, the make file of, amongst many things, it does many things. It is the make file of the JavaScript world. And that's kind of neat that it does that. I know in theory we have that with Python with setup.py, kind of, sort of, but it's not official. There's not, I can do Python setup.py and then override things. I've even blogged about it, how to override it. I think, let's see if I can do, I called it a setup.py trick. I wrote it years ago. And you can see here, I literally override, I stick in some Python code, and this works. I mean, I have this in a whole bunch of open source projects, and I even talk about why I use a make file, why I don't. So I'll post that link here. Okay. All right. Okay, so now I think we can do npm run, and it's telling us to do npm run build can be used in place of the npx build. So it's just one thing. It just makes it easier for us to remember, because anytime you go to a JavaScript project, you can look inside package.json, and it'll resolve things. Okay, so yeah, Fabio, I think PyProject Tomo might do it, but I don't know. Honestly, I at some point soon I need to dig into a few things with that for some projects that I would like to do. Okay, maybe we'll explore pyproject.tomo. We'll find a tutorial, and then we'll do it. We'll stream it, or I'll stream it, and we'll see what it's like learning it. Okay, so custom parameters can be passed to Webpack by adding 2 dashes between npm run and build command, and your parameters. This is how we can pass in parameters. That's kind of neat. All right, in conclusion, we have a basic build together. We should move on to the next guy, which is asset management, to learn how to manage assets like images and fonts with Webpack. Yes. And at this point, and our project said look like that. I'm not going to run tree just because otherwise I'll load no modules, which will be really ugly. But we have our package.json, our Webpack. I know there's the package lock, and we also have our index, our main, and our index. So this is not in alphabetical order. You'd think, yeah, they actually let you. Whoa, that was interesting. Oh, it's they have a getter bot. Okay, and if we're running npm 5, okay, so if we want to learn more about it, we can look at basic concepts and configuration pages. I think I want to dig into asset management because that's, to me, that's the biggie. It'd be nice if we could move Django Crash Starter to using this, and then subsequently Cookie Cutter Django, because the reason why Cookie Cutter Django doesn't have Webpack is because we've had pull requests for it. We've had people who've offered help, but then there's no follow through, and people vanish. Like, here's this giant commit that makes all these changes. Oh, yeah, I don't have time to maintain it. And so we've literally had Webpack and had to pull it out because maintainers were asked questions about it, and none of us had any answers. Okay, so let's add asset management. If we've been following the guides from the start, we'll now have a small project that shows Hello Webpack. Now let's try to incorporate some other assets like images to see how they can be handled. Prior to Webpack, front-end developers would use tools like Grunt and Gulp, which is what Cookie Cutter Django uses, to process these assets and move them from their source into a dist or build file. The same idea was used for JavaScript modules, but tools like Webpack will dynamically bundle all dependencies, creating a dependency graph. This is great because now every module explicitly states its dependency and will avoid bundling modules that aren't in use. Yes, yes, yes. This is awesome because I have done a bunch of work with Grunt and Gulp, and it was so uncomfortable to work with. It just those tools just always ended up with so much cruft around them. And I'm guessing Cookie Cutter Django is like that. Let's dig in. And I know this is a little bit of a tangent, but I don't think it's a big one. So if I go into the project and where is, so here's the gulp file, and so see all this, yeah, there's a whole bunch of tooling going on to, like, there's uglify, like we had to code all this stuff up. And there's some interesting stuff here, like they're doing run server. You can use it with GUnicorn with UVcorn to run it. So they're in browser shell. There's some neat tricks in here, but oh my god, this is actually gnarly, and we used to get a lot more questions about it. Maybe we still do. Okay, so one of the coolest Webpack features that we can also include any other type of file besides JavaScript for which there is a loader, like CSS or images. So we get the same thing for other tools like CSS. Okay, so we're going to change this to asset management. And then we're going to change this to be bundle.js. And then inside our webpack.config, we're going to change this to bundle. Okay, loading CSS. In order to import a CSS file from within a JavaScript model, we'll need to install and add this style loader and CSS loader to our module configuration. So let's type that in, npm install save dev. So we're saving it just to our development environment, and that is what save dev stands for. And then style loader and CSS loader, these are JavaScript libraries. And we're loading, we're running. Okay, so it installed. That was pretty straightforward. So you can see 9 packages. Oh, that's funding. which is good. We should fund open source. And then in here, we're going to add a module, and then we're going to add in an object, a dictionary. Oh, here we're adding an array of rules. Our first rule is, and I think our only rule is going to be test, and then this is a regular expression. It's a JavaScript regular expressions. Don't need quotes. Just that always confuses me, but it is a JavaScript oldie thing. And then the use, when we test, I guess it'll use style loader. And oh no, I think I'm gonna explain this once I'm done. Okay, so what's happening? We have rules, and our first rule is use style loader and the CSS loader. And if you're gonna test, I guess you test the CSS. Look for everything that is ends with CSS. So I'm not sure what that means. So Webpack uses a regular expression to determine which files it should look for and serve to a specific loader. So it looks across the project for CSS files, and then if it finds them, use style loader and CSS. Okay, so test just means find. That's kind of a neat use of the word test. Okay, so let's see. This enables us to import CSS into the file that depends on styling. Now when that module is run, a style tag with certified CSS will be imported into the head of your HTML file. Yes, I have done this, and it's awesome. Let's try it out by adding a new style CSS file to our project and import it into our... Yes, I mean, you do this in like Vue.js is kind of... It does it at a much more complex level. But now if I do hello red, and I guess what I do is in my source index file, yeah, this is one of the really fun things that you can do with modern JavaScript is I can import right into this project. I can import the style of style.css, and oh, so I see element.classList.add hello. I'm guessing this element, the class list for it will be hello, and then let's just I'm gonna move this over here, and if I go to dist index.html, so I'm not sure why I'm not seeing anything yet, but let's see what happens when we run it. I think I ran it too early. So now we run our build command. So Dota to attitude. Thank you so much for the follow. What is CICD? I'm gonna look up what that what that acronym. Oh, continuous integration, continuous deployment. Okay. That's awesome. Yeah, it's DevOps. Yep. I'm a little bit embarrassed right now. So, all right, let's run our build. And if we refresh, so before this was dark, and if you notice, there's no HTML in the source. It just loads a bundle. If I look for hello, so here is where it says hello Webpack, and I'm guessing so the style is red. See if we can find red. Oh, that's not. Let's try color. Look at that. So here is right here. Isn't this awesome? Right here is the CSS. It is injected in there. That is kind of awesome. Now I understand. I mean, I knew this at at an emotional level, or I would see it's like, oh, it's not. I don't see where it's calling CSS files, but actually seeing it in operation is good to have. I feel like I am like seeing how it works under the hood feels a bit empowering. So Dota to Attitude, what's your website? Can you share it with us so we can see and like just take a look? Okay, so we can see that Hello Webpack is now sun red. To see it, we inspect the page. We actually did what they just said. Oh, so you'd have to link us to the load balancer. I doubt that's really possible. But no, that's great that you have that. Audrey and I have a site that we use ourselves that we built several years ago, and the CI/CD has bit rot because we haven't updated a while. And so one of the things I plan to do is maybe if I have time today is dig into learning some GitHub actions so we can try applying that, because right now it's on GitLab CI, and just trying to fix it is annoying and frustrating, and sometimes it's good to start fresh. So it uses code pipeline in oh, look at this. Thank you for posting that. Let's take a look. So it's not private, but we'll just go to it anyway. Oh, look at this. Oh, so it is a so it's a betting. So this is a betting software. It's the largest hand in totem. Cool. I like the help feature. Well, it looks pretty. Yeah, it is. Yeah, I'd agree. The click error is a little bit small, but um it's always nice when you have this kind of design. And I think right now yeah, and it's got user registration, so I can do Havarti. So I could register. I'm gonna do that. Put in a see if I can register. Okay. That didn't register. So I guess oh, this is React. So I'm not I can even see the React logo right there. So no, awesome. I'm glad you got it up. Um that's, getting CI and CD working is so important. It can be so much work. All right. So I'm going to get back to this. Oh, so it's hitting a fake endpoint. Well, that's okay. What are you using for CI and CD? Okay, so it should contain the style block that we imported in index.js. We did. And then in most cases, we should minimize CSS for better load times in production. On top of that, loaders exist for pretty much any flavor of CSS you can think of. Post CSS, Sass, and less to name a few. Did it minimize our CSS? Let's take a look real quick. So we're going to go and we're going to look for the word color. And no, it didn't. See how it has those extra spaces? So what we can probably do is we can follow this, and let's see if we can I know that we're going a little bit off track. Oh, code pipeline, you even said that. Yeah. Oh, awesome. That's awesome. I think I've tried to use Code Pipeline in the early days, and it really wasn't fun. So I had an unpleasant experience with Code Pipeline. But I'm hoping that they improved it a bit, because I just remember it was really, really painful to use. But things iterate and improve over time. Okay, so what I'm doing now is I want to minimize my CSS. So let's see if I can do that. So I'm going to install the plugin. Okay, and so now inside of Webpack config, where's my Webpack config? What I can do is, oh, look at that. So what I do is because right now I have style loader, that's what I'm using to do it. If I type in const mini CSS extract plugin, and I'm able to do this, well, hopefully this will work, require, and then mini. Okay, so I've installed that, and then I'm gonna get rid of this style loader and do loader just like that. And I guess I have to put in a plugins array, and then to call that I do new mini extract plugin and instantiate it. So what I've done is I've imported the plugin that I just installed that you saw me do right here, and then that goes here. I add it as a plugin, and then I specify it as a loader. Now if I npm run build, let's hope it works. Okay, it worked. And now if I go to our openly dist index.html, oh, it's not red. That's not good. It wasn't supposed to be red. And it did not load. So something so it did not like me there. So what they also did is have I. Maybe I need to add that I. See how there's an I right there? And so we have the rules. All right, let's try it again. Okay, we're gonna open, and it's still not there. So maybe I need to do style, or maybe I just don't know what I'm doing yet. That's the other thing, is that I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm just like excited to see what I can add and configure. Oh, it did not like that, but if I do this, now if I run it, so it works this way, but if I do maybe oh, you know what? Maybe it's this file this one we don't need. There we go. Let's see what their instructions are. So no, that's what I'm supposed to be doing. So hold on. So I'm going to comment this out. I'm going to put this in. Let's see what happens. npm run build. Okay. So now if I open, and it's still not working. So yeah, I'm gonna hold off on this for now, just because I could spend a lot of time debugging stuff I don't understand yet, and that doesn't make any sense to me. Okay, so loading images. We'll stick to this newer things until I have a better understanding. Okay, so npm install save dev file loader, because now we're going to try and install or load images. Okay, and now let's see. So now we can add a new rule, and this rule we'll put after here. Do we import anything? Nope. So we'll do we're going to add in another JavaScript regular expression. This is going to be I'll explain what this regular expression is in just a second if you don't know how regular expressions work. So by testing, it's looking for one of these files, and okay, and then after that, our use, the library that we're going to use is our file loader. Okay, so Fabio, that's loves FCB, said last time I used AWS Code Pipeline, it was light years behind Travis CI, GitHub CI, and GitHub Actions. And Dota to Attitude asked, so really, how so? Loves FCB. Yeah, the last time I used Code Pipeline was, I guess, late 2018, which is why I said it might have improved since then. I can tell you the areas that I found it lacking compared to those tools was its documentation wasn't as good, and then introspecting problems that it had was harder. And maybe it's gotten better since I used it or Fabio used it. You know, tools evolve and improve over time, or there may be libraries to use it. I do know that when I tried to use Code Pipeline, things that were really trivial. Yeah, permissions was a big problem. Thank you. I couldn't remember that. Permissions were brutal with Code Pipeline because you weren't given a guide as to what permissions you needed, or if you found it after the fact. It wasn't presented up front. And then, so that was an issue. Yeah, docs were that was a sign that there's a problem with the docs. And I remember just saying, hey, yeah, Fabio's right. I remember that too. Trying to debug deployments was so hard because it was so hard to find, like when you get errors, it was really hard to debug a particular error. And I remember talking to both the guy who's in charge of deployment at that company that Fabio and I were working with, and he was like, "Oh, there's nothing wrong with it." And we're like, "Yeah, but I remember I told Fabio, it's like we need to at least have something working in a QA environment. Just use GitHub. I think we use Travis. Yeah, it's like we need something. So I said just use Travis. I remember going to the CO and saying, this is so bad. This is such a productivity hit. This is going to add weeks to our deployment. And he's like, how many weeks? I said, I'm guessing 6 weeks. Maybe less if Fabio and I can figure it out early. Really was Fabio. But we're talking about weeks of extra work that we could get done in a couple hours. Because we were using handcrafted CloudFormation, that company decided that rather than use any tooling, that they were going to handcraft all of their CloudFormation stuff, and all of it was, very custom and unique. It was very much the guy who was in charge of deployment was very much a not invented here kind of guy. And so everything was very custom. His docs were, well, he would write a lot. It was all conceptual. He didn't understand the idea of it being examples. He was I don't want to say anything negative about anybody, but he was not ready to lead a continuous integration and deployment team. And as far as I know, they, and Fabio can probably back me up on it, they are probably still trying to resolve that issue. I agree with you. Documentation is very hard to do with DevOps, but when you have 20 teams depending on you, you have to do it. If every one of them has to go to the DevOps team, that's not DevOps. That's old school system administration, and that defeats the purpose of DevOps entirely. It's supposed to be repeatable, and I would say, can you at least give us working examples? And they're hey Tim Freud, thank you for the follow. Yeah, there's absolutely a lot more to DevOps than the technical side. I would say, can you give us like a guide, a point-to-point guide, and once you create that, then developers can contribute to it. And their response was, oh, read the CloudFormation stuff, it's easy. I'm like, you're not getting it. Our job is not to spend all of our time doing this. So that's anyway, I can there's I don't want to be, like I said, I don't want to be negative in my stream, but that was a huge point of frustration. And sometimes people are assigned senior roles when they are not senior engineers, and it's just what happens. Every organization has it. It's just this was a critical position. Okay, so now when we import my image from myimage.png, the image will be processed and added to our output directory, and the myimage variable will contain the final URL of that image after processing. When using the CSS loader shown above, a similar process will occur for myimage.png within our CSS. The loader will recognize this this is blanking, so it will load this. So let's add an image, because this is not, sometimes an example is better than a long-winded explanation. So it looks like we need an icon. Let me see if I can find something in okay, so I have this logo. Where is this logo? Oh, we have this in the course checkout. So I'm going to okay, so I know what to do. So I go to copy, and then DCC course checkout. I'm gonna I thought it was, hold on, I lost my logo. Let me see. Gonna go to projects, and I'm looking for just a small image that I have handy. I have some stuff on my desktop, a whole bunch of screenshots. Let's see. Okay, just give me 1 second while I look for an image. A small image that I can use. Also, is harder than I find. Tell you what, I'm gonna screen capture. I will screen capture. I'll screen capture this image. This right here will be our image. So now I'm gonna move. Sorry, it's taking me a little bit to find an image to use for this. Test image. PNG. Okay. So now what I'll do is I'll move from my desktop test image, and I'll put that in source. Okay, so we have this test image, which is literally an image of code, and just to make things confusing. And all right, and now inside our index.js, we're gonna do import. Oh, hold on. Let's rename this. So, okay, so import test image dot png. Oh, test image from. Oh, I didn't need to rename that. Dot and then test image dot png. Okay. And now we're going to add this to our existing div. Add image to div. Const my image equals new image. And then my image equals test image. Okay, so, and then, oops, not minus. Okay, so let's go over what we've done. First, we're going to create an image object. This is a JavaScript thing. It's kind of like using pill. And then we're going to grab this image that we've imported. We're going to assign it to the source. This is where the image itself is stored in this. The source of the image is now the test image that we've imported from this image, and then we're going to add it to the elements. We're going to run it, and npm run build. Now if we open our page, and that did not seem to work. Maybe I missed something. And then I have to add a background of that image. So let's in our we're going to style.css, and we're going to add that, and this is test image. Okay, I think that is what we want. Okay, so let's see what happens when we run this again. Oh, needs to be within the parentheses. Let me. So this is why you don't. This is why you don't copy paste code. Okay, we have to run our build. And there, that dark is, if we look at our index, our test image, that's this. Okay, so I know that's not too obvious. Let's see what the rendered .png. Oh, and look at that. It's got this and then, but if we go to background, and it has this funny value thing. So, add a height. What would that be? Is that height? Let's do 500 pixels. Okay, and then look at that. So we see hello Webpack, and there's our image. That was, oh, that's kind of nice. Okay. So, and here, look at this. So the disk stuck in this image right here. And this is actually reference. If we go into the source, um, way up here, see 6D1539, that's right here. So it actually is injecting it, and without us having to do any too much work, it has moved it to the distribution file. So pretty neat stuff, if you ask me. Okay, so let's close a little bit of this, and we'll continue. Yeah, this is where we've built it. We have, well, it's a big file that they're using. You can see our icon has a repeating background as well as an image element besides our hello webpack text. If you inspect this element, and there we go. So we actually see it being built. If you inspect this element, you see the actual file name has changed to that clarg.png. This, so it found it. Loading fonts. Let's load fonts. So to do that, we have to add in another rule. Wow, that's really confusing, using an image as our test. All right. Hey, hold on just a second. I'm gonna get someone to guest star. Uma, come here. Come here. Oh, she's being shy. I was gonna bring in my daughter for a second. Okay. So where's our Webpack config? So we're gonna go, but now I know what this test was. I always wondered why, they'd have test, and test was use these files. So WAF to EOT TTF OTF $, and then our use is file loader. Okay, so just I didn't explain what this did before, so I'll explain it really quick for both of these. What this is telling us is in the same directory, that's what this dot is for, look for, or actually not same directory. What this is telling us is look for files that have dot and then PNG, or this pipe, that's the name of the symbol, means, or SVG or JPEG or GIF. And the parentheses means it needs to be one of these. This $, means it's the end of the regular expression. This opens the regular expression. This closes it. This backslash is so that way in regular expressions, a dot is a command. This says don't use it as a command, use it as a dot, a period. And the same thing is here for the font files. Font files have an extension of WAF to EOT, TTF, or PTF, and so OTF. It's the same pattern, and then in both cases, it's using the file loader to grab it. Okay, so let's add. Where am I going to find? I don't have font files. So hold on. There, my wife just reminded me that I do have something in my downloads directory. So, okay. Yeah, I think it's in yours. So, as I'm talking to my wife, she's giving me instructions because she uses this computer too, but under her account. Okay. Well, let me see if I can. Let's see. It's ARG. Oh, it is users. Hey, where are you? My daughter is like right behind my chair. Oh, hey, I'm gonna. Here we go. You want to say hi?
Hi.
Can you talk right here? Say hi. No. Can you talk into this? Okay, so this is a baby break that we like to call it. Okay, you want to run and play? All right. I hope no one minded the baby break. Hi. Hi, Uma. She just said hi, Dada. Do you want to come up again? All right, so I think I'm going to go to Google Fonts. Hold on. Now, do you want to say something? Okay, she just wants to sit in my lap. So I'm gonna, I guess I'll be typing one-handed for a few minutes. All right, so I am, here, you wanna stand up? Yeah. Okay. All right, so let's grab a really noticeable font. Let's see if we, oh, here we go. Yellowtail looks like something that, okay. All right, let's see if I can get this to not fall down again. All right, where were we? We were getting a Google font. Okay, so how do I download this? So we're gonna download this font, and let's download it right into the project, our Webpack demo. Okay, and we're gonna open it in our Finder. And okay, so here we have a TTF file. Isn't that awesome? So we're gonna put that into our source directory. Okay, and we'll just leave that there for now. Okay, so with the loader configure and fonts in place, you can incorporate them via font face declaration. The local URL directive will be picked up by Webpack just as it was in the image. So in our font face, so is that here under, no, it's style, where is style.css? And so we'll put that here. So font face, I've never actually used the font face command. I've copy pasted it. Family, and then the font is I guess Yellowtail regular. Regular, and then the source is URL the same, that's our directory, and then Yellowtail regular dot ttf, and I'm not sure I understand this. So it's source and then format. I guess there's no, oh, and this is a semicolon, and then format TTF. Okay, and then our font weight is 600, and I'm not going to worry about font style because we have a, oh, I guess we can do, actually let's just do this font style normal. It doesn't like these colons. Oh, because I have extra colon in there. Okay, so nothing's breaking. Let's run it. Right, and now if we go to our page, I'm not seeing any difference. Maybe I haven't. Oh, I see, because I have to add can you hear the ice in the background? I'm just okay, so this now I see it would be my font, because this specifies a file. This is where we name it, and then inside here we can do like font family, and then we can say my font. Okay, let's try it again. Oops, wrong place. And we're getting the same thing. Let me get rid of this background image just because it's a little bit hard to see what's going on. Okay. So, let's see, let's check the build. So this is a TTF file, so it's getting loaded, and we should see if it has changed fonts, and it hasn't. So something is going on. There's no error. So this is how regular, we'll try regular 400 looks like. So this is what the font should be looking like. Let's do, let's check the result. So font family is there, and for some reason something is breaking. Actually, it won't be called that. It'll be called something like 50. It'll be TTF. So this is definitely in there. One question is, did I specify this correctly? Let's take a look. We can debug this. So font family is my font. We have that. So the file's getting moved over, and it should be getting loaded. Okay, font weight is being brought over, and it's normal. What if we get rid of this normal? I don't know what that does. Okay, let's see. Still the same thing. So font family, and then font family is the same thing. See how it's the same thing here. So let's literally copy paste that. Just make sure that we didn't break something somehow. It doesn't work. Any ideas? Does anyone have any thoughts as to why my font is not loading correctly? What happens if I do this? If it will break if I don't have it specified correctly. Okay, so it has to be a working file load. And yet for some reason the font is not picking up. Let's see if we inspect. And then, so the font family is specified correctly. Yeah, I'm like so stumped as to why this is not working. It's really a shame. Um, yeah, it's all the pieces appear to be there. Um, Again, if you are listening and you have the answer, that would be great. Because I think I've checked everything. Um, so we have, yeah, this is, and here's the rendered font thing. So I think we're gonna we'll just use the default fonts. Okay, so let's see if there's anything else. Loading data. Another thing we can do is load data. Um, oh, this is interesting. So there's CSV loader and XML loader. Um, I think we're gonna pass on that at the moment. I want to see global assets. Okay, so let's assume we've gotten past this and we want to do global. We have the XML or JSON. Oh, we can also do JSON, which is really cool. Okay, so global assets. The coolest part of everything mentioned above is that loading assets this way allows you to group modules and assets in a more intuitive way. Instead of relying on a global assets directory that contains everything, you can group assets with the code that uses them. For example, a structure like this can be useful. Yeah, that is useful to have indeed. So tell you what, it is noon my time. I'm going to take a short break. Let me just put up until I figure out how to do a uh, breaking. No thanks. I'll be back in 5 minutes. And yeah, at some point I'll have a countdown. A few minutes. Okay, and then I think I can do this. Awesome. So this gives me the chance to take a short break. Let me just. Okay. All right. So I'll be back in about 5 minutes, and we will continue and see what we can do to figure this out. I think I have a pretty good idea of Webpack, so I might move on to another thing, which is some stuff with 2 scoops of Django that needs to get done. Hello, can you hear me? I am back. Um, Let me get rid of this image. Okay, so I think I want to try and get, before I move on to the global stuff, what I really want to do is get the, if you remember before I started to try and figure out the font thing, I was trying to get the mini extract loader to work. What I want to do is use that for loading. Excuse me, I saw it a little bit wrong. I want to use that for loading things. And did that work? I think it worked. So I'm not sure what I did different. Let's see if. Actually, I remember it worked, but then, yeah, see, it's not red. But if I go, because the CSS isn't loading, and now if I load this, oops, I have to run it again. And if I refresh, it's red. So when I do the mini CSX extract plugin, it's not working as I wanted. So let's see if we can figure that out. So add the loader and plugin. So we have import style.css, that's there. We already have, so we have this in there. Do we configure it correctly? Let's take a look. So in our Webpack config, we mini extract plugin, that is this line that we see right there. We load it using plugins. So that's in place. And it is one of our use items. So we have our mini CSS plugin, and that should just work. Okay. I'm not sure what advantage it has by specifying these other things. So let's a minimal example. So they actually pass in a bunch of arguments. So let's pass in those arguments because I think maybe these are required. So we have file name is so name.css, and chunk file name is, that's the ID. So I take it this is when we spit it out into our dist folder, and then ignore order, and this is going to be false. Enable to remove warnings about conflicting orders. Okay, so we're not going to worry about, and then our options. I think, let's see what happens if we just do at least this. So it still builds, and then, and it doesn't show up anything. So let's try getting a bit fancier with our specification. We're gonna pass in an object, so it's gonna be loader equals, and then we already have it specified here. And then the next item we're gonna have is options. I guess we'll do public path is something else. I'm not sure what we have it, and I'm not sure what HMAR is, but process.env dot okay, so that that looks really close to what we have. We're going to close this with a comment. Let's see what we get. So it did not like something with what we did. Oh, so after, oh, public path. Nice little debug message there. And it's still not working. So there's something I don't understand about this, and that's really a shame. And now it's working. So I think what I'll probably do in this case is I'll when I build out a project, I will see how someone else uses it, just because this is what I was hoping to have work. Here, this is what they do. They actually keep it much more simpler than what we do. So they actually specify style.css. All right, let's try that. Let's see. And that's it. So for whatever reason, this is not finding the file. Interesting. Is that the problem? Let's see if that is the problem. Let's get rid of, what if we get rid of this I? Oh my god, that's it. It's this I that for some reason, I was wondering why we had that. It doesn't make any sense, right? So I think there was an issue with it. So actually, hold on. That's because we're not doing this. So we're not actually running it yet. Okay, and then let's name this style.css. And let's and for whatever reason our loader is just not working, and that is really a shame. Okay, I don't know the answer to this one. I think what I'll do is I'll work off of someone else's example until things start making more sense to me. Wasn't there something we did with yeah, this is and I'm following their instructions exactly. Maybe are they using dev mode in any other place? Yeah, so they specify their mode. Maybe it's the dev mode thing. Okay. One last time. Just not working. If I'm not sure where things are going wrong. So we're grabbing all the CSS files. We're using the mini extract CSS extract plugin loader. So they have CSS loader. And just looking and seeing if there's anything else that we can find. Yeah, it's not something that we're able to find, but that's okay. We're gonna, and now if we run the standard style loader, it just works. It is what it is. Time to move on. All right, so we are working on components. We can, loading assets this way allows us to group things in some better ways, so we can have components. So I guess what it's saying is that it will automatically navigate through the we can use a components directory. That's kind of neat. So, and this is I know with doing Vue.js, I've relied on this quite a lot. The one thing is with Webpack is that I'm noticing that there is like it's going to this index.html file, which means that everything is going into this bundle.js thing. Is it possible to configure this to not be a single page app? Like right now, where's our index.html file? So our one and only index.js file is here. And so one thought is, what about, is it possible for these assets to go in a different place? So that's the one thing with Webpack is how would you make it work with a flatter app, a more standard web project application, not a single page app, because everything so far is very single page app focused, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's just output management, that would be it. So yeah, so we're gonna look into that. Okay, so what this is so what this does is this changes the bundle names and the manifest. So I think if we built something, yeah, what we want to do is be able to bundle the results, not single page app style, but into like gulp and every like more focused on something that would work within a regular Django project. With that's not a single page app. But I think what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna convert to I'm gonna take a break from the Webpack tutorials to make a change to 2 Scoops of Django, and I'll let's go ahead and move over to that. So let's see, I'm gonna close this and we'll be returning to that in a little bit. But if we go to CD and then we go to TSD, okay. All right, so this is the 2 Scoops of Django project, and okay, and I will need to, I think I need to start Docker real quick. May do that. Okay, so while Docker's starting, I'm gonna start VS. Oh, we're already in there. Let's see if I have a. Do I have a example to show you? Maybe. Let's do. Okay, perfect. I have one right here. is from, I guess, 10 days ago, or what's today's date? Almost 2 weeks ago. So this is Two Scoops of Django. This is a rendered PDF. This is the LaTeX that we use to write it in. And this is the current table. And this is, this, like, it sort of works, but it's not ideal. The issue is that it's ugly. And if we look at a previous edition of Two Scoops of Django, do I have one? I don't have one handy, but the 1.11 edition, the tables are a lot prettier. This is written in LaTeX, which is hard to. It's not hard. It's challenging. LaTeX produces beautiful, beautiful PDFs, but when you're trying to render out, in the case of the tables, the table library that we use for Two Scoops of Django for like 5 years now, it's called Taboo. Taboo is no longer supported. And that's a problem because LaTeX in 2020, like, there is no replacement for it. So what I've talked about with people is, and we tried to figure it out. We had somebody said, hey, we've had a few people say, hey, I've done a teeny bit of LaTeX in college 10 years ago or 5 years ago. I can help you. We can figure it out together. And here's the thing about LaTeX. If you don't know anything about LaTeX, and we know some, it will take us days or weeks to figure how to correct all the tables across the book. So rather than waste all that time, I reached out to as many people as I can. I said, hey, could you help me figure this out? And 2 people came up with solutions. One is Aaron Hall, who sometimes is here in the channel. The other one is Inhiki. I can't remember his last name. I should. Who also had a solution. Hold on, let me see. GitHub, Feldroy. We're gonna go to the. Okay, so. Hey Uma. Hey Uma. My daughter is saying hey. Okay, so what he offered was, this is Enhiki. He offered, I'll show you how the table looks. So this is close to what we were used to doing before. This is what this is the Tufte style. Like Edward Tufte, who's a noted data scientist. He came up with spark lines, and he also has done analysis on space shuttle failures. And more people preferred the Tufte style. I actually like the blacktop style, but more people preferred this style, and one of those was Audrey, so we're going to go with the majority rule. It actually is a lot more responses on this, and of course, Audrey carries a lot more weight. So let's see. Let's see if we can make this work. We'll use Aaron's. Actually, let's see if we have. Okay, so see if we can find, as promised, and Enrique. Sorry, I see Portuguese, because if he's Portuguese, then it'd be Enrique. If he's Spanish, and I think he's from Spain, then it's Enrique. So all right, so yeah, this is what he has. All right, so here's his LaTeX source code. I wish he just pasted it. I mean, Enrique would be. All right, so I can copy, or actually PB paste and then PB copy, and then we're gonna go to downloads. Okay, so now we're gonna go to the main.txt file, and so this is his version of things. I'm missing something. Hold on. So his is actually the advantage of his over Aaron's is that Aaron is I'm not sure Aaron needs all these adjust box. I'm not seeing where that is being used in here. So let's try this version first. Just the advantage of this is that, but this is pretty much what I'm doing. So I'm not sure what the advantage of it is. Let's get rid of the document and we'll go all the way. First, we're going to change our content to not have all these chapters, just so that way we can build it really fast and test how it looks and feels. Yeah, the introduction chapter where we have this these sample things like the table. So this is what we currently have. So we will compare it. So he's using HTTP. We're using tabular X. So he's got a little bit of configuration of there. That actually is kind of interesting. Let's see what happens when we generate it. So let me guess I will go to the terminal and virtualenv TSD3x. We're gonna activate, and then we're gonna make the PDF. Oh, so is my streaming not showing anything? Maybe I will. Okay, let me stop and restart the stream. Is my stream better now? Fabio just reported that we have a problem with the stream. I'm gonna check it myself. Okay, it looks like it's working now. That's really funny. I can see myself, and then you can. It's like an infinite loop. That's kind of awesome. All right, I think the stream is fixed. Okay, good. Okay, so and now I have an error going on. So so this is where the okay, so it looks like I've got a bug in the output somewhere. Did I leave stuff in the main that shouldn't be in main? Yeah, I think I did. So, all right, let's try it again. And yes, I'm back. How's it going, finite singularity? And I switched to fixing tables in Two Scoops of Django because they're ugly at the moment. Okay, so it builds now. Let's stick in uh, Enrique's table. We're gonna try this one first. See which one we like. So we have an undefined control sequence, so it's a mid-roll. What is mid-roll? L'attack. Yeah, I am debugging l'attack. So what package is mid-roll from? So no one likes using vertical lines. So I think it's the book tabs. Library, are we using book tabs yet? Okay, let's add. We're gonna add the. Let's get rid of some of these. I didn't mean to get rid of that, but we're gonna do use package. Okay, so we have yeah, l'attack. Two Scoops of Django. Our big book is written in l'attack. Yeah. I have respect for you, finite singularity. I didn't learn l'attack until well after university. I learned it for Two Scoops of Django, and it's kind of a superpower when you're involved in book generation because even as when as we're working on Write or Not and other tools, um, being able to understanding at a pretty deep level, even if I'm not the best at it, like I have trouble configuring tables, um, understanding it, making sure it builds cleanly. That's why it's doing it again. Is really going to help us with Write or Not when we're rendering out PDFs. So, and so now we're building it. Yeah, I think as much as it was fun to do the Webpack tutorial, I was like getting tired of not being able to figure out a couple things. Yep. Well, also a lot of people don't like forget that they included a package for things. So, um, Okay, let me bring this over. Here we go. There's the lovely cover. I don't know if anyone knows this, but William Vincent wrote of LearnDjango.com and the DSF board member. He's written 3 Django books. He wrote our foreword. I asked him to do it, and he graciously wrote us this really nice thing. Conventions used in this book. So, so this is what Enrique got working. Let's convert it to what we have here, and then we can look at it together, and also get Audrey over to weigh in and make sure that we all agree that so let's see, gonna shrink this a bit, and then let's do so Daniel, let me just see where we are. It's a little bit easier to navigate like that. Okay, so we're going to change this from code to nothing, and then Daniel Feldroy, and let's just make this, oops, what did I just do? Hold on. So it's Daniel Feldroy, and okay, so it was down here. Audrey Feldroy. Then we're gonna get rid of can be fed. Gonna break this up so we can more easily see the lines. Can be fed coconut ice cream. No. Yes. And then the next one is favorite ice cream flavors of the moment. And this is going from pumpkin to mint chocolate chip. And we can get rid of this. So let's render it again. Oops, wrong place. Yeah, people really have an issue with vertical lines. I don't know. I think um I don't mind them so much, but I know a lot of people apparently like. I mean, I have mad respect for Edward Tufte, but um okay. So then his other design, or Aaron's design, which is a clean style, is this. So we're gonna. Okay, so let's close this, and we're gonna open this screen, and so it does look better, right? This looks better. This is closer to what we did have. Now let's do we're gonna do Aaron's clean style, which Enrique wanted to do. So this is gonna be Enrique wanted to do. So it's gonna be very similar. And hold on, let me just bring it in, and oh, so he was gonna get rid of this because we don't need the commented out things. And then let's actually port this over. So this, we're not going to have anything. We're going to do see what we have currently. So, all right. So Daniel, Feldroy, Audrey, Feldroy, and then in here we have can be fed a coconut ice cream. No, although I can have coconut now. My coconut allergy is gone. It's been wonderful because I'd always want to eat coconut, but it would make me sick. Um, and then we have favorite ice cream flavor of the moment. Okay, now we're going to render it one more time so we can see, whoops, wrong file. So we can see what it looks like. That's a excellent point, finite singularity, that if a table needs vertical lines, it's probably too complex. That is, oh, it's an interesting way to present things. And maybe I like the vertical lines because I've lived in spreadsheets so long, or where's I thought I so here's what I have. Where is it though? Because I added it. So here's um did I what happened? I thought I added the table. I'm really confused. Did I'm really confused that. And where's yeah, there's supposed to be 3 tables here. Where's the third table? Let me run it again. Oh yeah, probably did. Thank you. So how do you say that? Chapaku? Oh, so it's a fruit related to coconut. Um it's cultivated in South America. I don't think I've had this. Why didn't you get this for me when we met in 2014, Fabio? Wow. What's it taste like? It's a mix of chocolate and pineapple. Wow, I'm gonna have to share this with Audrey. So actually, what I really like right now is ube, and ube is you get it a lot in Filipino desserts, and it looks like this. It's bright and purple, and it tastes like an earthier version of chocolate. People who eat ube things like you get like food box tasters on YouTube, they won't know what it is and they'll try it and they'll be like, "Oh, this is kind of like this is some form of chocolate." And it's like, "No, it's not chocolate. It's ube. It's something else." But I like the flavor of ube over chocolate. But now I might try that. So let's see if we can find um there it is. So it did come down. Um So this makes it a little bit hard to test. I wonder if I can do copy screen.pdf, screen2.pdf, and that way I can just put them next to each other and we can talk about it as a family, which way we want to go. So introduction, let's find conventions used in this book. Okay, so um, which one do we like the most? This is the current one that people complain about, especially when there's lots of data. This is what we had, pretty close to what we had in Two Scoops of Django 1.11, and then this is what was just submitted. And I, is there a need for the horizontal lines? I think so, because uh yeah, I think it compresses things too much. Um the I wonder if we can add mid rules. What happens if I add a mid rule to this? Right? So we have our carriage return. What happens if we do like this? Let's see what happens. I mean, this is part of the fun of doing it, but I agree. This looks better. Uh well, yeah, so all the data in the books can get pretty wide. Is that, oh, this actually is compressing it. Look at that. See how this is narrower. Oh, that's not good. What does PT mean? Is he compressing? Yeah, there's a margin being set on it. I don't want the margin. Maybe let's see what happens if I do 350. Let's before we play too much, I'm gonna get rid of this mid roll. Maybe that'll help. Because right now this does feel really like. And there goes building away. So yeah, doing configuration of a project like Two Scoops of Django is just, it's a time sink, because you have to build, and this is with all the chapters and appendices taken out. So right now it's like 31 pages that we're gonna. Okay, let's see how the margin compares. Yeah, is that, yeah, so this is wider. Um Now I wonder what happens if I just get rid of this. Will it just automatically go all the distance? Because I would, by default we don't want to constrain our tables. They already have enough data. Excuse me. Oh nope, it wants points. Um, let's try 400. Then let me see if I can. Well, this is style. Oh, actually, let's look at the result again. Oops, wrong place. Oh, but look at that. It goes all the way over there. Okay, you know what? I think for now we're going to go with this design, just cuz it matches up closely with what we've had before, and I think I can um I I don't know. Let me check our geometry. Oh, that's not good. So we do it in inches. I think I want to do for now. I think we'll do the black top because that is the working example that we have. And then if someone wants to submit some LaTeX that addresses it, I'll publish the LaTeX that we have. And just because, yeah, I want to. So yeah, so we're using these libraries, and we don't know how it'll work in the EPUB version yet because we haven't tried converting it to EPUB. That's a lot of work. All right, so if I go to the introduction, the only thing that's kind of so we don't have row color. Actually, I didn't mean to turn off. Let's get a bunch of files open, so it's making it hard for me to find things. Okay, so we're going back to the main.txt. This is what we have. So I think, and if we, I think I used to have, let's find it at, let's see, we have the database model stuff. Where's our table? So we had 3 call table. What I'll do is I will resurrect this, but I will rewrite it because we defined a new command to simplify things. So this is our 2 call mid table. Blah. I did not write this. This was not me. Yeah. Just thinking about converting this. Let's convert the tables in number 6. This is gonna be a bit of grunt work to get through. So here's a table. I guess I'll spread it all the way across. So what is this? There we go. So this is what we currently have, and then let's get rid of this. This table we're not going, the Tufty style we're not going to use. Just the thought of having to translate this to this setup is just kind of, it's so much work. We have so many tables, and they have to be converted over manually. Let's see if I can figure this out. So begin tabular. So if I look at this, it's, hold on. If I look at main, so it is recall table is so let's comment this out, and then new environment recall table, and then inside of that we have okay, so we have row color black, and then and so what he's doing is he does mid-roll and tabular line for each one. That's doable. And then looks like we have end of tabular. And then we stick in, so that basically is replacing a chunk of this. Blah. I'm just wondering how much this is actually saving in terms of work. Well, means that we're consistent, right? So we have row color black, and then we so for the first row we have to do white, and then okay, so let's try it out with what we have in the introduction. So we can do let's see how we defined it. Here it is. So it's begin. That's right. Begin 3 call table, and okay, and then we're gonna copy this in, and then actually we copy in everything is the thing that we do. But so here's the question, like if I do this, where does a table begin? I guess I have to in table, end table, and how do I pass arguments? It's been so long. I don't remember how we pass in arguments at all. Let's see. I guess we have to Google that. How to LaTeX environment new LaTeX new environment new arguments. Parameters, that's what it's called. So so what we do is okay, so I think what we do is we pass them in like one. So if we want to do like 2, 3, we could do and then we could have 4, 5. What we could do is still trying to figure out how I'm gonna do this. Oh, it's so hard. Yeah, I'm not sure. So how do we if I look at the new environment, and then I know, because I need to if I do that, I think this is what I need to do. So that way text will be there. We can put the first 3 rows here, right? So let's see if we can make this work, because it would be awesome if we could make this work. Hold on, that was row color. Okay, and then what they use is finding arguments with parameters 1, and then and then it's 1 like that, 2, 3. And so that would define an environment. So let's give that a try. So we have 3 call table, and we're gonna pass in. Oh, and then for the rest, I think what we can do is we look here under captions and label. That's the other one that we want to have, and that's in between tabular and table. Let's see. If you think that this stresses me out, like if I'm talking like I'm stressed, it's because I am stressed. Like LaTeX is hard. It makes me wanna it makes me just wanna give up. Okay, so in the introduction we have our 3 table column, and then okay, so I think all right. I'm just trying to think. So it's give number 2 as an argument. The rest will be bold. Okay, so now I can do. This is hard. I said that enough times. Hold on, where is it? Oh, did I? Okay, so I defined it here. We're gonna comment this out, and then we're gonna do begin recall table, and we're gonna pass in nothing, or Daniel Feldroy, Audrey Feldroy, and then because these are the column headers, and then we've got a caption, and the caption will be author's ice cream preferences, and finally our last one will be tab ice cream 1, so we don't have a collision, and then we'll end the 3 call table, and let's and then we will stick these in. And so this is what our, okay, let's see what happens. So this, okay, so this should work. Let's see what happens. God, that's so stressful to, let's see if we get a blow up. It doesn't like me. Missing begin document? What are you talking about? Why do I need to care about begin document? New environment, 3 call table. So I am not sure why it wants. Let's read the doc. So defining environments that accept parameters can also be defined. Let's enhance the previous example to put a title for the box. 1. This is the one that they have. Oh, I see. So I did this wrong. I think I have to do it. All right. I think the way you define it is like that. This is a number of arguments, and then first argument, second argument, third argument, fourth argument, fifth argument. Let's see what happens. That is an end of 3 call table. Maybe I have to do 3 and then 2, right? Because these are 2 different environments. 1, 2. Let me see if there is oh no, this will break for, I know why this is breaking. Because maybe here, I don't know. Wow. I am so confused. So how so all right, let's try it with this, and we'll just do oops. Let's see if we can get it at least with part of it working. Says I have an extra, so end tabular. How does it have an X? Let's you're killing me. Come on, LaTeX, stop it. And that's breaking things more. Okay, so this is begin tabular, base stick, number 1. That's the environment. You can specify how many arguments. Oh my god, this is like I don't know what to do. I think the answer is to plan to handcraft these tables, like basically copy paste, because I can spend a really long time on this, and I don't think I'm getting any benefit by really digging into my LaTeX. I just didn't want to have to handwrite this out. Just that's really tedious. I think the decision to be what we have though is that we use a mix of 2 column and 3 column tables only. And oh, did I hold on just a second. Look at this. I had this open. That's what was breaking. Oh my god. Oh my god. That is well, yeah, that's what I'm trying to do is set up an environment for it. It's just been, I don't write these that often, but I see now the problem is that I had this down here, so this might have been working great. Um yeah, that's all right, I'm just going to get through this really quick. Hold on. I'm going to get through this really quick and okay. So, let's try it again. I'm going to open this up. We are passing in um 1 2 3 4 5 arguments. This accepts 5 arguments. Actually, what we'll do first, before we get any further than this, let's put in some junk data here. We're going to reduce this to 3. And okay, so now we're just, right, we reduce variables. And look, it's building. She can, hold on for a second. Yeah, she's good. Because it only picks up when it's right next to me. My daughter's playing with one of her sound making toys, so it's actually, I love listening to my daughter, but trying to focus on this, on the code. So I have to lift up my hands because I'm all the way down here. Trying to focus on the code and talk to you all, and then listen to her like having fun as a little girl it actually is like a test of focus and discipline. Look, hold on, that's pretty funny. So clearly we have a small we have a small problem here. Okay, so getting there, yeah. So let's look at what's happening. So we're getting these 3. So why is that happening? 1 2 3. I thought I was accepting the arguments. So let's look at the docs that we're using. I mean, shouldn't this, why is this only 1 character? Why is it? Okay, so 1 2 3. We have new environment, 3 call table. This is 1 2 3, but it's acting like this is these are 3 arguments, each one of those letters. Curly braces. Hold on, how are they calling it? Oh, let's try it. Like that? All right. Yeah, that might be it. The fact that it's not pulling up is making me so happy. Oh my god. Like, yeah. LaTeX formatting is brutal. I mean, I have this love-hate relationship with. I love the results. When you nail it, it's beautiful. But man, sometimes getting to where you want to be, and the thought of like changing all those files, I wouldn't have subjected everyone to that. Look at that. Yes, yes, and you can see that our bogus information there. So I'm going to let's see if we can so we're going to change this to 5 arguments, and this is going to be number 4 and number 5. Let's do it. I'll close this. Oh, it doesn't like that. Huh. So I need to be able to pass in arguments down here. Can I do this? Oh, okay. Yeah, that you're right. That might be an issue. So let's, because I did change that this time. Let's just put in an X or XYZ so we know what that means. I don't think that's it. Yeah, that's not it. So it's okay. We're getting there. And I would stop it, but because Fabio built this awesome Docker script, I can't escape from it. So we get to just sit and watch it try to figure this out. Okay, so and if we open it, okay, so XYZ, let's see if we can correct that. Oh, you couldn't see that because it opened on my laptop, which is over here. But let's see if we can fix it. I want to see if this works, and if not, we will try to look for better documentation than Overleaf. Okay, so then the question is where do we toss these in? Are these tossed in like here? Let's see. Let's see what happens. Oops. Hold on. Hit the wrong thing. So here's, you can see XYZ, it builds. But let's, no, it did not like that at all. I'm gonna have to nuke this, and then I'll put up here and I'll mark it, comment it out. Where's it? Oh, because I still have it here. Okay. So LaTeX pass argument to closing environment. Why can't the end code of an environment? The error, perfect. Wow, this like says, why are people checking this off if this doesn't give you anything? Oh my god, this is really not what I want to see in I know what I can do. This is like a fun little hack. So what I can do, I think, is let's see if new environment, and then we have like close table. right? Or we'll call it end table. End table. Oh, that's such a bad joke. Okay, so all right. I think this will work, right? Hey, Fabio, it's not a big deal. Don't worry about it. Um, like, you know, this isn't like there are other things that you can be doing for the company. Like, really, really, don't worry about it. I was just poking at you. I'm sorry, I shouldn't do that. Um, okay, so now what I do is I think, um, or what I do is, yeah, I think, will this work? Oh yeah, you're right. 1 and 2. Thank you for spotting that. And now in my so now what I do is begin um that would be end table, and then right, so that should work. And I guess I do end end table. I'll clean this up in a little bit because I'm realizing that there's some silliness with what I'm doing. Um, but the important thing is that I get something working, and then we can like clean it up. Oh, it didn't like that. Well, let's. What? There's a end table. Oh, it's already defined. So, um, we'll do close table, and well, but we can do this for either tables. But what I could do is end call table, because that's what we call these. See, we have call table. And call table already defined. What? I yeah, yes, it does need to be. This is not Webpack. This is LaTeX. I took a break from Webpack. Hi Glinkus, to work on some uh uh book rendering thing. And if you want, I can return back to Webpack. I just needed a break from doing the tutorial. Wow. So I guess um so end call table. So we're gonna call this close call table. So would you like me to return to Webpack? I don't have a problem with it. Oh, and now it's working. No. No, it's not working. Let me just get through this build at least. Uh, to do. Okay. Can you change a stream title in stream? I don't know if I can. Let me see if I can do that. If I go here and here's my stream, I'll just keep trying to get past this. And then let's see, I have so I can, awesome. So stream. So how do can I do it? How do you do it? How do you oh, edit stream info. There we go. Uh working on 2 scoops of Django 3.x. There we go. And now I just need to figure out how I save this. And I'm good. Wow, where is the save button? There it is. Okay, so now the stream is more accurate. Thank you for pointing that out. I really appreciate it. Okay, so all right. Oh, any ideas, anyone? Well, actually, I got stuck. Maybe you can help me. Because I got stuck on something that really frustrated me. And let me tell you what. I will switch to that. Oh yeah. Let me do that for. We'll do this. So this is what I have for the close call table. And then if we can figure this out, we'll get back to Webpack since you know, our Glinky has a let me see that. Excuse me, because Glinkus 2 has experience with Webpack and might be able to answer some questions. Yeah, so it's right there, and yeah, so there's something going on here. So we have 2. Oh, maybe it does. Oh, that's right. LaTeX is so finicky about this stuff. Look at that, and it's working. It's not working. um. Oh, so you know what? I think it doesn't seem to like this break right here. How did we do this before? I don't know. Yeah, it's let me think. How can we So if I look at TC color blocks, so the tip box, I want to see how we did that. We have 2 arguments and oh, I just had a weird thought. What if hold on, I think I know how we did something before. So if I pass in this, I have because I'm looking at so these are not environments, these are new commands. Maybe it's easier as a command because these are the tip boxes. Oh my god, that's it. So it's what we want to do is have a command. Okay. So let's redefine these. So we're gonna have a new command. It's gonna be 3 call table. I don't know if we can do let's do call 3 table. Okay. And then we're gonna accept 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 arguments, and then okay, and then we're going to have inside of it, we're going to have number 4, and then, oh, that's not going to work. Wait, hold on. No, it will work. It will work. So we have 6, and then, watch this, and then 4, 5. So this is I think this will work, because it's not an environment, because environments are problematic, but it has everything arranged in one block, whereas with this, we're getting complaints because we're opening things here but closing them there. So let's okay, so we're going to comment this. Okay. All right, so we have call 3 table, and then let's see what we have here for new commands. So for new commands, okay, so I think what we can do is we have call 3 table. Oh, maybe I'm screwing this up. So, because tipbox works really differently. Ah, so frustrating. Okay, so this is where the text goes. That's the big argument. So I feel like no, this isn't gonna work because I don't understand what I'm doing. All right, I'm sorry guys, or I'm sorry people. This is I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna dig into this later, and I think I want to try to pick up Webpack, because maybe Glinkia 2 can help me handle the issue with that made me stop before. Yep, back to Webpack. I got stumped on the LaTeX thing, and I think I need to read up on, because the thing is environments don't let us put variables in the end code of an argument. I mean, wait, yeah, we can't inject stuff in here, which so there's a xparse package. Hold on, maybe there is a way to do this. Wait a second. Okay, let's do. Okay, so apparently there's this xparse package, which let's see if we have it. Xparse. We're not using that. Okay. So xparse. Okay, so let's so Fabio, there might be something else that we include in our build. Let's do. Okay. Oh, that's right, because I don't have all that stuff installed here. Requirements latex. Where is that? Okay, and then let's how to create environment xparse. See if we can so begin new environment. Oh my god. Why do they swear people who write documentation for LaTeX, oh my god, it's so see, it's not like this is that much easier. Oh, while it's installing, I will so it'd be new document environment. Okay, so 3 call table. This is what we had. We're going to get rid of, actually, we'll hold on to this for the moment. So it's going to be new document environment. And we're going to call this, we will call this 3 call table. And then let's see how it works. Twice. What why? Okay, so this, oh god, this like, are you typically use this issue by ending the argument specification with B. So we'll try following because it looks like in theory it should follow similar patterns to what we're already using. That's what it just said. So we're going to try it. We'll see what happens. I'm going to be positive. Okay, so now if I look at introduction and I have 3 call table, and this may work. Okay, let's give it a try. No, didn't like that. And didn't like that argument. So let's see how we use specify arguments. Looking into it. Wow, like this, oh my god. Like, can't you have a I'm so ranty. Does not need to so xparse does not simply need to know the number of arguments for action, but also the nature of each one. This is by constructing argument specification, which defines the number of arguments, the type of each argument, and any additional information. So you want a list of arguments. How do we pass that in? Okay, so the token 1, token 2, can you call those? Oh my god, this is like Uh, okay, so with them, it's new document. I have to backslash it. Okay. And then oh my god. Like given as O. Okay, so I think what I do, because this makes so much sense. I think I can do O, which is a standard LaTeX optional argument. Yeah, don't. I can tell you, Glinkus, if I weren't a book author of a technical book, well, yeah, yeah. I mean, there's no reason to do it unless you want to come up with fancy PDFs and be able to render them programmatically. So, um, and it's 2020. That means the documentation has only gotten better over time. Okay. So undefined control sequence. Do I need to, let's try call 3 table, and I'm going to go to, because it doesn't like starting with a 3. That's fine. Okay, and then when I pass the arguments in, um, do I need to, oh my god, this is, so foobar. So here's one thing I do is I think this is what I do. And then how do I, oh my god, like how does this tell me what it's yeah. All right. So let me try and figure this out. I can do this. Not what I want. Okay. So I define it here. And then so fubaz, what why? Okay, maybe I can do that because they're not doing that with. Okay, and then when they call it, Oh my God. I'm gonna keep working on this for a little bit longer. What sucks is that like I had planned to stop streaming in about 13 minutes, and I feel like I've spent like a lot of time just banging my head against a wall. Um, yeah, this is one of those times where, like with Lattack, it makes you wonder: should I? Because I've spent all this time trying to figure this out, and maybe, just maybe, the answer is to not worry about the environment and just manually type everything out. And I think as much as I don't want to do it, this is one of those times where I'm gonna do that. And so tell you what, I'm gonna switch to Webpack right now, and maybe we can work through that problem that I had where I couldn't get something to work. Um, and maybe okay, so for those of you who are here before with Webpack, the challenge that I was facing was that okay, so if I here, I'll run it here. If I do npm run build, okay, and this is the control. So if I open dist index, you can see that there's hello webpack. It's red because the styles are working. And if I look up, whoa, why? Hold on. That is not the answer I was looking for. Wow, why is it? Huh. Did I break something? Um, I guess there's, I'm not sure what this does, but I do know that if I look for color, wow, why is this? I guess some of these things I'm doing are an issue. Let's remove some of these things real quick. Okay, so I guess I was running in development. All right, so sure, I'll start over. So, all right, the problem is that I have is I cannot get the mini CSS extract plugin to work. And when I go to bundle.js, and here's my CSS in the uh in that's now been bundled through Webpack. When I've installed mini CSS extract. I specified it as a plugin. When I go from style loader, oh, and just want to show you that the style is loading. When I go from the style loader to the mini CSS extract plugin, and I hit when I run it again, okay, it it actually is it building the CSS. So it's building the CSS. Um, there's our there's main CSS and style CSS. Why is it got two? I don't understand that one. Let me get rid of them and run it again so I know which one I'm actually supposed to be looking at. Okay, so now if I run it, okay, so the CSS didn't load. If I check, here's the CSS, and if I go inside of main.js and I look for color isn't here. The question is why is it going to main.css when it's bundle? Oh, why is it doing that? Oh, thank you for the follow. Um, uh, I sorry, I don't have the language skills to be able to thank you by name, but thank you so much. So I'm trying to figure out why this is going to main.js. Um, is it going to main.js? Let's look. Um, so I'm importing the CSS file here. Appreciate it. So I import it there. I import it as style.css. And here, so I have this. If I go to Webpack, the output is bundle.js. Just making sure I have everything looking okay. I think so. Yep, this is the one and only place. Let me try it again. Okay, and tell you what, I'm going to, there's our font file. Yeah, so it's creating main.css. It's not creating style.css. So I'm a little bit confused. Uh-oh. Like, shouldn't it be creating, like, why is it even creating main.js? Let's go to our Webpack config and see if we can figure it out. So the output file is bundle.js. Our source is index.js. So nothing out of the ordinary. Let me close some of these things. Seeing if there's anything. No. Let's just check the build a little bit more carefully. So it's creating bundle.js, that's good. And it's creating main.css. So main.css is an entry point. Do I need to... So what's inside of style.css is just some really simple things. Like for starters, it loads a font, and it also makes the text red. So if I'm using where is it? If I'm using the style loader, maybe it's just one has different defaults than the other tool. So if I run this, you can see that this is red, that it is actually putting the result of style.css, which makes me think that my use of mini extract plugin, so that's what gets compiled to main.css. Webpack will rewrite your import to reflect the new file name it gets. So it's just bringing everything together in this one file, then compiles it. Got it. So, but when I do it with the mini extract loader, if I here, let me comment. Let me switch up which way I'm loading this. Now, if I open this, if I look for color, like the color that I'm defining isn't there. So I'm not sure what I'm doing wrong, because if this is getting bundled up so that way it can be stuck into bundle.js, actually, is it main dot? Yeah, this isn't. Yeah, so let's look at the docs for this particular package. So I actually followed this tutorial and to the letter, although I got rid of I. Let me see, that wasn't working. So if I add the I here, oh, so how do I get it into the bundle JSS into the? Because I mean, what's the point of using it if it doesn't show up, right? This is their minimal example. Actually, they don't do the I either. They add this stuff. I had this before, um, but took it out just because it wasn't doing anything. Um, oh, so I need to do it with the Webpack HTML plugin. Um, do you what's the name of that plugin? Is this it? Okay, so let's see if we can get this working. Okay, so we're gonna, that's correct, and then the file name, I I think we can probably keep it. Plugins, we will. Okay, this will generate a file dist that will contain the following. Oh, that's cool. So let's. Oops, I didn't need to install that again. Okay, let's run it. And yes, we have a new dist file. And there's a bunch of stuff. And there's bundle.js. Let's see if that makes a difference. Aha, look at that. Yes. And then I'm not sure what just happened. So I guess it's loading this. Let's see if I can find it. So if I do main.css, how's it loading? Ah, look at that. It calls it there. Interesting. Okay, so now we can just call the classes. Oh, I like that. That's much more elegant. And then and this is using the only, wait a second. So this is still not compiled CSS. Like it's still maybe, hold on, because the point of this was to use a mini extract plugin. Let's just see what I'm doing wrong there. Oh, so this doesn't actually compress the file. So I don't know what I thought this would minify it. Ah, okay. Interesting. Still, this gives me something to work off of. Because now if we look for a Webpack CSS minify. All right, this isn't really what I want. Oh, try setting mode to production, of course. We will. Where's mode? I thought I had a mode going on. So do like, can I do mode? Hold on. Okay. Let's try. Maybe we can do it this way. Okay. So now if I go to the didn't seem to make a difference. Yeah, I thought that was what I was doing. Maybe I'm calling it incorrectly. Let's I mean, I had this in here from earlier. Let's but you know what? This is it gives me a much better I still have a much better understanding of what's going on, and this is may have to pass an ab. Oh, okay, yeah. So let's check the options. Minify. See what the options are. Minimizing for production. Oh, so they actually, that's a